Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordyn and welcome to the Upside Down Readathon. I cannot believe this week is finally here. Us hosts have been planning this readathon for months and it's finally time to read the books that we've been looking forward to, talk about Stranger Things. In case you missed the announcement for this readathon, you have no idea what I'm talking about. This is a Stranger Things themed readathon that myself and 5 other co-hosts are doing this week, basically because we just love Stranger Things, we love to talk about it, and we want to read books that remind us of and have the same vibes of one of our favorite shows. So today is actually Tuesday, the second day of the readathon. Yesterday was Monday, it was Labor Day. I got a bit of a slow start to this readathon because on Sunday, my brother actually got married. So it's been a super busy weekend with family in town and making that wedding happen. And then yesterday I was, recovering from the wedding. I definitely don't bounce back as easily as I did in my early 20s, but it was a really fun weekend overall, and I enjoyed taking yesterday a little bit easy. So I did not vlog, this is the start of my vlog, but I have done a little bit of reading already. So let's talk about all the books that I will be reading and have already started. So for this readathon, we do have 5 reading prompts. I am planning on reading a book for each prompt, so 5 books total, but I do have some things that could double up if I don't get to everything. Hopefully I can still hit all of the reading prompts. So the first reading prompt is a book with lights on the cover, and for this one I'm going to go with When the Lights Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry. This is the buddy read book chosen by Liv, one of the hosts for this readathon. I've always kind of been interested in this book, and I know that Emily Henry writes contemporary romance now, but this is one of her backlist titles that is very different in genre. This is a YA sci-fi kind of fantasy book. It has been compared to Stranger Things many times, so I'm curious, I want to read it, and it's got some lights on the cover coming down from that spaceship. The second reading prompt is to read a psychological thriller, and for this one I'm going to go with The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. This is another one I don't own physically. I'm going to listen to this one through Libro FM. I don't know a ton about it, but I have read and enjoyed Megan Miranda's thrillers in the past. So I'm just hoping that this one is twisty and psychological, bends my mind a little bit, but I don't have any real expectations for it. The next prompt is a book with multiple POVs or points of view, and for that I'm going to go with The Nanny by Gillian McMillan. I believe this is about a nanny who suddenly goes missing, and the child who was being cared for by the nanny goes to find out what happened to her, something like that. The next prompt is a book with a game or competition element, and this might be the one I'm the most excited for. It's Queen of the Tiles by Hannah Alkoff. This is about a main character whose best friend goes missing or something like that, and our main character is a Scrabble champion, so she goes to a Scrabble tournament, and I think she's getting clues about her friend's disappearance or murder through the Scrabble tiles. I'm so excited that this will combine my love for games and competitions and Scrabble with a murder mystery, and I've heard good things about this, so very excited to check it out. And then the very last reading prompt is to read one of the host's buddy reads, so of course I will be reading the book that I chose. For my favorite character, who is Dustin, I'm going to be reading One Word Kill, and this one I've actually started and I'm over halfway. I'm about 120 pages in out of less than 200, and so far I'm really liking it. I'm surprised by how much this book is packing into such a short book, and I'm interested to see how it wraps up. But this is basically about our main character, who is a 15-year-old boy who has been recently diagnosed with cancer. He is trying to come to terms with that, which is a big deal all on its own. Plus, he and his friends, who often play Dungeons and Dragons together, are being followed by this mysterious man, and so they also have to figure out, what does he want? Are they in danger? And deal with that whole situation. So it's kind of about dealing with both. It does have a multiverse element to it, which I think is really fun. That's something that I love in books, and I'm just very excited to finish this book probably today and discuss it with people in Discord, because I have seen a lot of other people picking this book up for this readathon, which makes me so happy. I love that readathons cultivate an actual community feeling, and reading similar books to each other or the same books and being able to talk about them real time. It's so much fun. And of course in this book I am using my Stranger Things bookmark, which you can't really see. Let me see if I can get it to focus on there. This was a gift from the lovely Kendall, who is one of the hosts for this readathon. She's actually the one who originally thought of the idea of doing it, and invited me to be one of the co-hosts. So I appreciate her and her nice gifts and her friendship and everything so much. So those are the reading plans. We also have photo prompts going on for this readathon. I'm not that much of a photo person. My Bookstagram is definitely not my most active book platform. So I'm just enjoying looking at everyone else's photos and not spending too much of my energy creating them because that's just not my thing. We did reading sprints last night on Liv's channel, which were so much fun to kick off the readathon and see what everyone else is reading and talk about it and just get a good night of reading in at the very start of the readathon. And I'm really excited because this Friday night we have another live show where we're going to be playing games and stuff. So it's going to be such a fun week. I'm already having fun. But today is Tuesday, which means it's back to work for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get into my work day. The audiobook for One Word Kill is on Scribd, so I will probably try to work this in as I can throughout the day. And so I will let you know once I finished it, what are my final thoughts and what's the next book I'm going to be getting into. So here we go. Okay, it is much later in the evening now. It's almost 8 p.m. I look very disheveled because I have been busy. And let me tell you about everything that I've been doing. First of all, I worked most of the day, which is boring. But once I was done with that for the day, I had an errand to run. So I stopped at my mailbox as I was out and I had some exciting book-related mail. Firstly, I got my Book of the Month box, which it's funny, I was actually considering skipping this month because I wasn't super excited by any of the main picks, but then I thought I would take a chance on one, and then I had 2 add-ons that I wanted to add on. So I'll show you really quickly because this is not a Book of the Month vlog, but my main pick, I did The Attic Child by Lola J, which is a historical fiction. And then for my first add-on, I did a book that was new this month, and that's The Most Likely Club by Alyssa Friedland. And this one looked interesting. It's a contemporary, it says kind of like a chick lit genre on Goodreads, but it's about these people who are coming back to their high school. And I think it's comparing them now to the superlatives they got in high school, like most likely to succeed, etc. So I thought that was a fun premise. And then I also added on The Great Alone by Chris and Hannah, which I have been meaning to get to forever. I hear is a lot of people's favorites by her. So eventually I needed to read it. So I added that on. So that was great. And then I also got bookmark mail from one of my favorite bookmark shops called Gigi and Bo. She has an Instagram page and an Etsy shop, and she does a lot of like pop culture type bookmarks. I've gotten Taylor Swift bookmarks by her in the past, Friends bookmarks, Schitt's Creek. I know she's done like Bridgerton and a whole bunch of other stuff, and she just came out with the first of her Stranger Things collections. And so I got 2 Stranger Things bookmarks, which is so perfect that they arrived today or this week. This one says Reader Things in the Stranger Things font, and then this one says Eddie Munson Fan Club. So I'm super pumped to start using these. And then while I was on my errand, or after that errand, I stopped at Target to pick up a few groceries, and I was just browsing their puzzles and I found a Stranger Things puzzle. So I'm so excited to do this week too. I think I'm gonna start it tonight. It just says, "See ya on the other side, nerds," which is a classic Steve Harrington quote from season 3. I'm pretty sure. And I can't tell if this is gonna be super easy or super hard because it's not like that patterned of a puzzle, and it's only 300 pieces, so maybe I can even knock it out within a night. We will see. But that was like a great end to my work day. And then I picked up my kids and I've just been, you know, doing dinner and playing with them and everything. Finally got them into bed. And right now my friend Jessie from the channel Reading with Jess is doing reading sprints. She's doing another like Stranger Things themed reading sprints tonight with a bunch of other awesome people. So I was like, yes, keep the readathon excitement going. So I'm on these right now and I'm planning to get back to the audiobook I'm listening to. But let me first start by also talking about the book that I finished this morning, which is One Word Kill by Mark Lawrence. This book is so interesting, very confusing for such a short book. I've been talking to people in the Discord and it's helping me formulate my thoughts. Unfortunately, the more I think and talk about this book, the less I think I enjoyed it and the lower my rating dips. So I think I'm gonna end up with a 2-star rating for this book, which is rough, but I think it's partially because I've read a lot of books that have the multiverse, parallel universes, alternate realities type tropes in them, and I like all of the other books that I've read better than this one. I feel like this just was not fleshed out at all. It tried to tackle a lot, but being fewer than 200 pages long just does not leave enough time to flesh out any of that, nor did I feel particularly connected to the characters. There are some storylines or like side plots that felt just thrown in there for no reason, and I didn't see like why that needed to be included. I have been told that this is part of a trilogy, and at least one person in the Discord was saying she would recommend reading the rest of the trilogy if you want more of that backstory and more of an explanation for like the sciencey stuff. So that's good. I'm glad it's explained somewhere, but I still feel like it should have been included in this first book, at least enough for me to feel like it was a complete book. It just felt very incomplete to me, rushed. I needed way more. So a bummer 2 stars, but at least it was only less than 200 pages, so I don't feel like I invested a ton of time and energy into it. I'm still glad to have read it, and I'm really glad to be able to discuss it with other people who are finishing it so far in this readathon. So then, after I finished that book this morning, I started my next audiobook. I went ahead and started The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. Again, this is fulfilling the prompt of a psychological thriller, and I'm actually like 75% of the way through it already. This is about our main character who works at this hotel in this really small mountain town in, I think, North Carolina. And a lot of people visit there to go hiking because it's part of like the Appalachian Trail, I think. I don't know a ton about that, but but over the years, a lot of people have gone missing on this one particular trail, and investigators haven't been able to figure out why, and a lot of people have just been chalking it up to dangerous hiking conditions and people just wandering too far from the path and dying from exposure and just, you know, decomposing or getting eaten by animals or whatever would make the bodies not able to be found. But then at the start of this book, a guy comes to visit to the hotel, and it turns out he is the brother of one of the people who went missing, and he's looking to investigate it a little bit further because he doesn't believe that it was an accident. So then our main character gets, you know, sucked up with him and is trying to solve the mystery too. It's okay. I don't know. It's very just like standard mystery thriller. There have been no twists or reveals that have completely shocked me. I don't love the small town setting in general, so that's not really doing anything for me. So unless Megan Miranda pulls out like a way out of left field twist right at the end, I think this is just gonna be a basic 3-star thriller for me, which is unfortunate, but is most of the thrillers that I read. So if we're going with the odds, that's probably what's gonna happen. But yeah, that is going to be my plan, is I'm gonna get back into that audiobook. I'm gonna start my puzzle. I'm gonna keep doing sprints. We'll see how long I last tonight, but I will probably just check in tomorrow once I've finished The Last to Vanish and maybe started another book, and can just give another update on day 3. Good morning, everyone. Happy day 3 of the Upside Down Readathon. It is bright and early the next day. I did stay up for quite a while last night and finish my last audiobook and start another one. I did that again as I was working on this puzzle, which is coming along nicely. I have the whole outside done and I'm working my way in. Harder than expected because all of this black on the outside is like completely flat. There's no gradient or anything. So for some of these pieces that are just completely black, it was just like guessing on the shape of the piece or finding the right shape of the piece to fit instead of being able to use colors and stuff. Puzzle people know what I'm talking about, but excited to finish that in the next couple of days. I think the words will also be kind of difficult on the inside. But let's talk about my reading updates. I did finish The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda, and I have honestly nothing to say about it. It was just so average, like your completely average mystery thriller. I don't know why it didn't work for me so much. I'm giving it 3 stars though, because like, I don't feel like it was bad. It didn't do anything wrong. I didn't even predict like what was actually happening. I just had no interest in really finding out what was happening. And I have read, this is my 6th Megan Miranda book, and my favorite is All the Missing Girls. By far my favorite. That one is told in backwards order, which I thought was really unique for a thriller, and it was still easy to understand and follow. So that one was super cool, and I feel like I've just been waiting for another thriller of hers to hit like that again and to be unique in some way like that one really was. But all the other ones I've read have been 2 to 4 stars, mostly 2 and 3. So I don't know why I keep picking up her books. They are just kind of easy breezy, quick to listen to or quick to read, but she's definitely not a favorite thriller author at this point, and I should probably wait for any future books she puts out and make sure that the synopsis actually appeals to me, or I start hearing good reviews about them or something, because going in blindly is just not working. So that's a bummer. We've got a 2-star and a 3-star to kick off the readathon, but better news is I started Queen of the Tiles last night, and this is probably the one I'm the most excited about and the one that I objectively feel like I'm going to give the best rating. One Word Kill I really had hope for, but I knew had a better chance of going wrong, whereas this one feels safe and like it's gonna be good. This is about this girl who likes to play in Scrabble tournaments, and she used to have a best friend who also did tournaments with her. Her best friend was actually really, really good, and I think was the reigning like Queen of the Tiles tournament winner or something. And right after she won, actually at the tournament, her friend seemingly passed out, hit her head on like the table with the board, fell on the ground and died. So it was a super dramatic event. It was super traumatic for our main character, who was such a good friend of hers. And now our main character is getting back into the tournament game. She has grieved the loss of her friend and is trying to regain some semblance of normalcy by getting back into her hobby. So that's where I'm at. She's at the first tournament that she's entering. I'm not sure if it's the only tournament that we get in this book or what, but nothing has happened other than her playing her first game in this tournament. And I love this type of book where you're following someone in a competition or something and you get like all of their thoughts, you get every move they make and why they make it, and you really get to dig into the expertise of the person doing the thing. This has that, and I'm loving it. This author obviously appreciates words. This main character obviously appreciates words and how Scrabble like glorifies the English language. So that's all super cool. So I'm going to continue reading this today. I do have the audiobook through my library, so should be able to continue to fly through it. I do again have to work most of today, so I will be sprinkling the audiobook in throughout the day as I can, but probably won't check in until later tonight once my workday's done and my kids are home and everything like that. So I will check it at that point. I have been loving seeing people's Instagram pictures this whole readathon so far. We're on day 3, which a lot of people are doing photo prompt 3 today, which is the post a picture of your current read in your Vecna Savior song, and I'm loving it. Loving the creativity. Yesterday was reading a book upside down, so there were a lot of people like laying upside down on their beds. There were a couple of people doing handstands, which I thought was awesome, and then some people just reading like with the book upside down. But loving the creativity, loving the community aspect of the readathon, and I'm so excited that we get to keep doing it for 4 more days. Okay, good morning. It's the next day. I'm in the exact same spot. I don't think I filmed anything since I last talked to you, so sorry about that. But it is day 4 of the readathon. We are chugging right along. I've got some reading updates. I've got some life updates or things I have to get done today that will be kind of interesting. So let's get on into it. First of all, reading has been going great. I did finish Queen of the Tiles. I actually just finished the last like hour of the audiobook first thing this morning, and I really liked it. I wish I loved it. Like, I wish I was going to rave about this and give it 5 stars and say everyone should read it. I do think everyone should read it, or a lot of people should read it, but it wasn't quite a 5-star book, unfortunately. I actually wish that this had more to do with the Scrabble tournament and like the making of a Scrabble champion and the training and the studying that goes into it, all of that. I wish I had more of that and less of the murder mystery, because that part of this book was really lackluster for me. it follows this weird situation where, again, this main character's best friend died at the Scrabble tournament a year prior, and it was ruled to be a freak incident, like a sudden heart attack, no foul play suspected, so really no investigation was done. But then a year later, this main character is coming back and she's like, I don't think that the police did their job. I think something fishy is going on and I'm gonna investigate it. Which is always like an iffy thing in books, in my opinion, when the main character decides to go detective, especially when they are a teenager with like no actual knowledge or training or anything. And then she gets like a couple of her friends involved. They're all doing the detective work. It's just all very unbelievable. And it simultaneously feels too low stakes and also too high stakes because like none of them are in imminent danger. So I wasn't really truly invested in them figuring out the mystery because I didn't think that one of them was going to be killed next. And that's again because they're all teenagers and I don't know that many teenage serial killers that are that good at their job that they're able to kill people and not have police bat an eye and think that any foul play was suspected. So again, it's like really low stakes, but also apparently high stakes because somebody did get murdered. So the mystery portion I completely could have done without. That was not interesting to me. But the competition aspect, I really liked that. I really liked our main character and the setting of this book. I believe she is Malaysian and this takes place in Malaysia or somewhere in Asia because it talks about the different characters coming from different places in Asia. So that's always nice to just get a little glimpse into, you know, another geography, another culture, because every book doesn't have to be white and American. And our main character, again, I really liked her because she was very focused on the game. I liked hearing her inner monologue as she was playing her Scrabble games. I wish we got more into like exactly how she got into it and some more flashbacks to like tournaments or whatever it is that built her up to being where she's at now, more like Queen's Gambit style. If anyone watched that series or I know it's a book, if anyone read that book, that's what I was looking for. Like I want this girl's life story as it pertains to Scrabble. But all that being said, I am gonna give it 4 stars. I think it's different. I loved the Scrabble elements and I do understand that this is a young adult mystery. It was not written to be a dark and twisty adult thriller, so I shouldn't be judging it as if it should have. So I think for what it set out to do, it hit the mark and it was a worthwhile read. It's less than 300 pages long, so if it sounds interesting to you even a little bit, I would recommend picking it up. I love this cover, so I will be keeping this on my shelves for sure. And yeah, I'm just in the mood for more like game books. I recently read Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. That's all about this tennis star. Now I read Queen of the Tiles, all about this Scrabble tournament champion. I have watched The Queen's Gambit, which is all about chess. If anyone knows of more books within that vein, let me know. I will take that recommendation, and I want the nitty-gritty details about how they became the absolute best. But anyway, that is my 3rd book complete, which is awesome. I am ahead of schedule, I would say, for my reading plans, and I have gone ahead and started my next book. I picked up The Nanny. Again, this is the book I am choosing for multiple points of view because it does alternate. So far we've gotten the perspectives of Jo, who seems to be our #1 main character. She is the one who was the child of this nanny when she suddenly went missing. Or not the child of the nanny, but the child that the nanny was taking care of when the nanny suddenly went missing. We get her perspective now, many years later, when she is now a mom. We also get the perspective of the mom of Jo. Her name is Virginia. She's very like stuck up and not really a great mother. And I think there's some tension there between Jo and Virginia when it comes to the granddaughter or Jo's daughter. And then we've also gotten a detective perspective. So nothing has really happened yet. I'm still pretty early on in this book. So we'll see once we get into the mystery of what actually happened to the nanny. Because so far it just seems like she left on her own accord. Like there was no evidence that her leave was sudden. All of her stuff was also gone, so that makes it seem like she left, not like she was taken or killed or something. Unless of course it was done by somebody inside the house who would have done that cleaning up. Looking at you, Grandma. But yeah, I have this on audio through Hoopla, so I will be listening to this throughout the day today. In terms of what else I will be doing today, I do have a couple work meetings this morning to go through, and then this afternoon I actually need to go somewhere during work hours because I need to get, or I want to get, an international driver's permit for my upcoming trip to Europe in a few weeks. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet. I'm still working out all of my travel plans, but some things that I've read online have said it's nice to have it just in case you last minute need to like rent a car or something. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling throughout all of Europe, so I feel like that'll be nice to have just in case train schedules or plane schedules get messed up and I need to travel somewhere that I can't get to through public transportation. I would rather just know that I have the ability to drive if I need to. And it's pretty cool. It seems very easy to get this international driver's permit. So I'm going to do that, and then we will see while I'm out. Maybe I will do a couple other stops. Perhaps hit up a bookstore because I'll be kind of close to Barnes & Noble. I've been seeing a couple people in their daily vlogs for this readathon stopping at Crumble and getting some cookies and trying this week's flavors. I wasn't particularly interested in most of them this week because I'm not a cream cheese frosting fan, and at least 2 of the cookies have cream cheese frosting. And then there's a plain sugar cookie, which I've tried before, so I don't need to try that. And then of course there's the chocolate chip cookie, which is there every week, so I've tried that before. So there are only 2 cookies that I'm really interested in, but maybe I will get those 2 cookies to try. But I don't know, we'll see where the day takes us. I will take you along for any outings and errands I go on. And then I really need to finish my puzzle. I did not get to work on that last night at all. So maybe that will be my plan tonight after the kids go to bed, to finish up this audiobook that I'm listening to. But yeah, that's the plan. Happy day 4. Let's keep this readathon going strong, and I will check in with you later. Okay, later the same day, it's been super productive. My outing earlier, I got everything done that I needed to. I got my international driving permit, which was surprisingly easy to get, so I'm glad about that. I was right next to Barnes & Noble, so of course I went in there and I did get some books. I ended up walking out with books that I had no intention of getting as I was walking in. But first I was going to pick up Carrie Soto Is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I had every intention of buying that today, and I had it in my hands, and I actually was going onto my Amazon wish list in the store because I had added it to that wish list and I was gonna take it off because I was buying it, and it was marked as purchased. So I don't know if one of my really nice friends bought that for me or not for some reason. It's not my birthday or anywhere close, so that would be a huge surprise. But I decided to put back the copy that I had just in case somebody did purchase it for me, then I wouldn't have 2 copies. I have already read the book, I listened to the audio, so I just wanted it to add to my collection, so I can definitely wait. If it doesn't show up in my mailbox, then I can go back and purchase it another time. And then I also had every intention of buying Tiffany D. Jackson's new book, which just came out this Tuesday, called The Weight of Blood. It's a Carrie retelling. It's like a young adult horror book, I think. I really like Tiffany D. Jackson as an author, so I wanted to buy her new book, but it was not there. And I had multiple copies of her other books, so I found it strange that they didn't have the new release, but I could not find it anywhere. So with those plans out the window, I decided to just let Barnes & Noble talk to me, let the books speak to me, and tell me who wanted to come home with me. And I think we still found some winners. So first of all, I picked up a book that I have already read before. It's called The Paper Girls of Paris by this author named Jordyn Taylor. And the only reason I've read this book is because I did a video reading books by this author because it is the same name as me. My name is spelled like that with a Y, and my middle name is Taylor. So I thought it was cool to have an author with the same exact name as me. This is a young adult historical fiction. Again, I've already read it, but I wanted to own a copy of it. I wanted to support this author because I didn't know her books were carried in Barnes & Noble. And she has a new book coming out in 2023 that I definitely will be checking out. And then I guess I was in a little bit of a young adult horror mood, again, because I wanted Tiffany D. Jackson's new horror book, but it wasn't there. So I guess I was filling that void with a couple other young adult horror books. Maybe it's the upcoming spooky season getting to me, but I picked up The Woods Are Always Watching by Stephanie Perkins. To be honest, I haven't seen great reviews about this book, but I also haven't seen great reviews for her previous book, There's Someone Inside Your House, which is a young adult slasher book that I surprisingly loved. So I'm like, maybe her writing just really works for me, and maybe this one will also be an unpopular opinion that I really like it, even though most other people don't. And at the very least, even if I don't like it, I can have them next to each other on my shelves and they'll look nice and match. And then I got a book that I had no intention of picking up. I know that I've seen at least one person review this book before, but I don't remember who, and I don't remember exactly what they said, but for some reason, The Honeys sticks in my mind as a book I know I've heard talked about. I looked it up online. It's a young adult horror. It looks like it has queer characters and or LGBTQ storylines in it, but other than that, I don't know anything about it. And again, no intention of picking it up, but the cover, it spoke to me. I was in Barnes & Noble and I was like, you are beautiful. So you're coming home with me, we're gonna give it a try. And again, worst comes to worst, I have a beautiful book sitting on my bookshelves. Then the last book that I picked up is one that I've had on my list for a while. I've been meaning to hunt it down. It's Point of Retreat by Colleen Hoover. This was one of her earliest books. It's actually the second book in a series, and I already own the first book and the third book. I just don't own the middle one. The whole series is in the middle of a cover redesign, and so the printing process of those has made a few books a little bit harder to find, and this was one of them, but now of course the new cover is out, so I have it. My other two books do not match this cover, but I do want all of the books in the new covers because I think they're really pretty. But again, anyway, this is the second book in her Slammed series, and now that I have all of them, I can read the whole series, binge it like I like to do a series, and that's that. So that was my successful Barnes & Noble haul. Since they pretty much are all young adult books, the price tag actually was not too bad when I was checking out at the end. Buying young adult paperbacks is definitely a different level than brand new adult hardcovers. But anyway, after book shopping, I did go ahead and stop at Crumble, and I got 2 of their cookies to try. I've already cut my pieces and have them on a plate. My camera is about to die, so if this dies mid-clip, I'll use my phone to finish it. But first of all, I got the Fruity Pebbles cookie, and then second of all, I got the French toast. Kind of hard to pick up. French toast cookie, which did look cuter before I spread the frosting all around. So you know what, since my camera's gonna die, let me switch to my phone, do the taste test, then we'll be on with our day. Okay, switch to the phone. We're going in with the Fruity Pebbles cookie taste test. Okay, I saw Gwen and her husband try this cookie. She doesn't like Fruity Pebbles, so obviously she didn't like it. I do like Fruity Pebbles, and I actually really like it. I love the crunchiness of the Fruity Pebbles, and then I love the softness of the cookie. I think Crumble cookies, soft sugar cookies, are the best that they have when they're just like plain sugar, vanilla as the base to anything. So this is a win for me. Now let's go ahead and try the French toast. I'm very excited for my husband to try this one because he likes actual French toast a lot. Yeah, that's good. It's really soft. It doesn't taste like bread. It still tastes like a cookie, but it tastes like French toast. You got the cinnamon. I personally like the frosting on top. And then again, I love a soft crumble cookie. So both winning cookies in my opinion. So that's good news. I'm gonna get back to working for a couple more hours yet today. I'll continue listening to my audiobook, and then I'll probably just check in later tonight once my camera battery is back to charged and give you another reading update. Okay, hello everyone. Kind of a weird angle and lighting situation because we are downstairs in my home office, which is our basement guest bedroom, so it doesn't get a ton of light, plus it's kind of a rainy, gloomy day today, so this is what you're getting. But it is Friday morning now, day 5 of the readathon flying by. I'm wearing my Stranger Things t-shirt today, which I love, and I'm wearing this because tonight we are doing a live show on Kendall's channel. We are going to be playing games together, which I'm so excited for. I love games, especially bookish games, and especially when they have a theme like Stranger Things, so this is totally the perfect live show that I will just be geeking out over, and I've planned a game for it, and there's a couple other fun ones, and I think we're gonna do a reading sprint too, so we might be up all night long, but I am here for it because it's Friday. I do have a reading update. I did finish The Nanny last night. This one was really interesting. I obviously flew through it. I listened to it pretty much exclusively yesterday, and for how fast I read it, it felt very slow. And the whole first 50% of the book, I was really not loving it. The perspectives were a little confusing just because I obviously didn't understand exactly how they all tied together and what their history together was. And it did come together at the end, but it still just wasn't enough for me to love it. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Again, that's what most adult mystery thrillers seem to land at these days. So I'm kind of conflicted when it comes to where do I go from here in adult mystery thriller books, because it's my most read genre. I usually say it's my favorite genre, but it's the genre that gives me the most duds or just the most mediocre, forgettable books, which sucks. But the feeling of a good mystery thriller that really shocks you and that you finish and you're like, what did I just read? And there are some that like actually creep me out. I live for those. Those are the best feeling. And so it's like I'm searching through the haystack for that one needle of a great thriller. And it just sucks sometimes that you have to go through all of the not so great ones to get there. So I'm definitely not writing off adult mystery thrillers, but I think I'm just gonna be a little bit pickier going forward when it comes to the ones I pick up, whether it's a favorite author or one that I've heard a lot of people talk about and say that it really is a great thriller that does something different than the rest of the basic ones. I just think I can't pick up thrillers for their covers anymore, which is definitely why I picked this one up. I think I got it secondhand pretty cheap at a used bookstore, which is great. Like, I'm glad I didn't spend a bunch of money on this, but I still feel like I wasted a little bit of time on a thriller that if I really took the time to read what it was about, I probably would have known I wasn't gonna love it. I do love the cover though, but I probably am still gonna sell this one because I don't need more books, especially blue books to keep on my shelves. Blue is by far my most owned color of book. But anyway, with that, I think that's 4 books down for this readathon already, and it's the start of day 5, so I am right on schedule, even a little bit ahead of schedule, I would say. And I only have 1 book left on my TBR for the whole weekend, which actually is going to be a good thing because weekends for me are always my lowest reading time, which is interesting and I think opposite to a lot of people. But when I have my kids at home all day, I just don't have that much time for reading. So I think it'll be perfect to just have 1 book left to knock out over the weekend. It's When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry, which is a young adult sci-fi fantasy book that I haven't heard great reviews for, but I do think I like young adult sci-fi more than the average reader. So maybe people who are picking this up just because they're Emily Henry fans and not because they care about young adult sci-fi might be bringing that rating down, and hopefully people like me will enjoy it more. At least that's what I'm hoping and planning, so we will see how that turns out. Otherwise, what else do I have going on? It's Friday morning, like I mentioned, so 1 more day of work. It is probably going to be a little bit slower of a work day. I have a work trip coming up starting on Monday next week. I'm going to Nashville for 4 days, which is going to be really fun. So really all I have to do today is just like tie up any loose ends for work to make sure I'm good to travel next week and not have outstanding tasks and action items. But otherwise I don't have a ton of meetings, so gonna be a little bit of a slow work day, which is great. I don't think I have any errands or anything left to run, but if I do, I can knock those out this afternoon. My other task for this weekend is going to be editing YouTube videos. I'm a little behind on my editing and uploading right now. Filming, not a problem. I have like 6 videos filmed or something like that, and a number of them are actually reading vlogs that I've read multiple books for and filmed my thoughts on them. I just haven't put them together in an actual video. Editing is my least favorite part of this whole booktube video making process, so it's the one I put off the longest. It also just takes me the longest, and it's the one I feel guiltiest about. Like, I can't take up my actual workday time with editing a video. It would just be way too much of a chunk of time. Whereas filming a quick clip that takes less than 10 minutes or listening to my audiobook whenever I'm not actively on a meeting, those feel like things I can naturally integrate into my workday so they get done faster. But the editing just takes a while. So I would like to get some editing done this weekend so that I can have videos to post when I'm traveling and get back on track for my uploads this month. But okay, I think that's enough talking. So I'm going to get into my workday, get my tasks and meetings done. I will start my next audiobook if I have time. I'll probably check in later tonight, either before or after the live show. I'm so excited for it. So all of today is just getting to tonight so I can do that. So I will check in when I have more thoughts, but this readathon, I keep saying it, is going so well. I'm loving seeing everyone's vlogs and posts and pictures and talking to people about the buddy reads. This has been the best time. So let's keep it going. I will check in later. Okay, you guys, fast forward a few days. It is Sunday night, which means it is the last night of the readathon. I am here to officially close out this vlog and end out this first round of the Upside Down Readathon. And let me just say, I have had so much fun this week. I figured this readathon was gonna go well, but I didn't know it was going to go this well. We had so much participation and I could just gush about it forever. I'm not going to. I will save that a little bit for the end because I still have a little bit of wrapping up to do. I am quite exhausted. Obviously, I have not checked in for a couple of days. Like I mentioned in my last update, weekends are crazy for us, especially when we are all home for the entire weekend. We are the type of family that likes to be busy. We had like 6 weddings this weekend. We travel often to see family. Specifically, my husband's family lives like 7 hours away from us, and we are no strangers to that drive. We make it all the time. We like to be involved and kind of always busy. And last weekend, like I mentioned, was my brother's birthday, so we had basically nothing planned for this weekend other than just to recover, recuperate, spend some time with our immediate family. And while that's nice to have that time where you don't really have to be doing anything, it's also for some reason more draining to me to just have the kids cooped up at home all weekend. And we did like go over to a neighbor's house for game day and we bring them outside and stuff, but you know what I mean. It just is a lot to be at home for 2 days straight. So I did in fact take this entire weekend to read my last book for this readathon. I did finish When the Sky Fell in Splendor. This is a young adult sci-fi fantasy book about this group of like teenagers. I don't know if it ever really specifies how old exactly they are, but they have like this podcast show or something where they talk about weird things that go on in their town and stuff. And one night they just happened to be in the right spot when this like mysterious thing happens. It looks like a spaceship or something, and then after that incident, each of the kids starts to notice special kind of abilities about themselves. So they spend the rest of the book trying to get to the bottom of what exactly happened to them. Are they in danger, or are they being used for something, or what's going on? I liked this. I didn't love it. I don't have too many thoughts about it. It all just seems a little unbelievable, especially when you throw in like the superpower element that they're trying to figure out. They each did have kind of a difficult backstory like from their lives, which did make them more interesting and layered characters. So I enjoyed that about them. They weren't boring or anything, they were just young. And I think this type of sci-fi book was just a little bit too actiony for my personal taste. It was a lot more about like the crazy descriptions of what was happening, especially at the end. It got a little wild, and like the kids trying to get out of the situation they were in or get into heists. And one, I think that would probably lend itself better to like a visual media like TV or movie, which is why I think Stranger Things works so well. But also, again, I just don't think that's my personal taste of shows, movies, books. I don't like superhero movies. I don't love like action heist movies, so this kind of read more like a mixture of those. So I can't say it was bad, it just wasn't exactly perfect for me. So I'm gonna give it 3 stars. So with that, I read 5 books for this readathon, all 5 on my TBR. I'm quite proud of myself, if I do say so myself, that I stuck to my TBR and basically just ticked them all right off the list. If I had to rank them from least favorite to favorite, I think unfortunately at the bottom would be My Buddy Read, One Word Kill by Mark Lawrence. Again, I gave this one 2 stars. Then I think I would put The Nanny by Gillian McMillan, followed by The Last to Vanish by Megan Miranda. Both of these were just really average adult mystery thrillers for me. Did nothing special. Then I would probably put When the Sky Fell on Splendor. And then my top favorite, my winner for this readathon, is Queen of the Tiles by Hannah Alkoff. Only a 4-star, so unfortunately I didn't have any new 5-star reads from this readathon, but this was still a very high quality book and I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I get to recommend it now to other people. The one other thing I did have to close out is the Carrie Soto mystery from my book shopping adventure. I did in fact get sent the physical copy of Carrie Soto Is Back, and this was sent to me by my friend Danielle. We are currently competing together in a TBR challenge in the online book club we're both a part of, and so I wanted to come on here and say thank you, Danielle, so much for sending this to me. I have already read it, but I'm so excited to have it in my collection now. And again, just let any of you know who might have been waiting on the edges of your seats, I did get this shipped to me, so that is an awesome surprise. Other than that, do I have anything else? I finished my puzzle, as you saw. That was super fun, more challenging than expected, but the perfect puzzle to do during this quick readathon. So I guess I have nothing left to do now except for get sappy one more time. Kendall, thank you so much for creating this readathon and for thinking to invite me to be one of your co-hosts. I have absolutely loved everything from the brainstorming phase to the building excitement, preparing for the readathon phase, and now through executing the readathon. I have been so grateful to be one of the lucky people co-hosting this readathon because it's been so successful. So thank you so much again, and I really appreciate your friendship, and all of my other co-hosts who all have been daily vlogging or every other daily vlogging. You have all killed it. I really enjoyed watching your content throughout this entire week. It definitely kept me motivated. So thank you for also being awesome people and making this readathon such a success. And then lastly, everyone else who participated. I keep saying this has been a success because seriously, we didn't expect this much interaction and participation with everything from the buddy read discussions within Discord to the photo prompts on Instagram to the live show sprints and games. Every single day we were all just like, I can't believe so many people are having so much fun with this. So it has been an absolute blast. There have been talks already of bringing this readathon back in the future. We will have to see when that lines up, when the next season of Stranger Things is announced, and whether that's too long to wait or not, but we will of course keep you posted and let you know, but I am all in for making that happen again. So please let me know if you participated in this readathon. What did you read? What did you think of it? And did you enjoy this readathon as a whole overall? I would love to hear your feedback. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.